Hey everybody, it's me. So it's not quite dinner time, um, yet. The chicken is still cooking that we made earlier, but I will tell you an update on it is it smells amazing. My house smells so good right now. Um, so we're gonna talk about something, that's kind of embarrassing. And I'm not the only one that goes through it, especially if you're a heavy set person. You have probably been there. Um, so I'm not the type of person that I usually feel about myself. My mom and people in my life, I know they have always worried about me. Um, you know, about my weight, about everything. And so Uh, obviously, it's not fun. And you have people out there who are ignorant and who are like, oh, why would you do that to yourself? You do it on purpose. You do this. There's a lot of health reasons that people are overweight. Um, there's just genetics. There's so much out there. Um, so if you're one of those people, please unfollow my page. Um, because who thinks that people do it on purpose? If you think people do it on purpose, because I wouldn't choose to live like this, honestly. I've been blessed, and but, that I've been blessed. But one thing that people don't realize is, we already have people saying you're pretty, your face is pretty, or if you lost weight, I would date you. Things like that, which is very mean to say to anyone. And I know teenagers definitely, I remember teenagers are just so mean about that kind of stuff. And don't realize saying, if you were skinny and lost weight, I would date you. Things like that is really horrible. And I'm the type of person, if you can't love the person the way they look, you don't get them when and if they lose weight. If you can't be supportive or understanding or try to work with them, maybe go to the gym with them, maybe do things. If you know me at all, and personally, again, I do not do much in the winter, so working out does not get done in the winter for me. The gyms are not cheap, and being out in the freezing cold, I just cannot do it. Um, in the summer, you will see me in the parks working my ass off, walking, walking. I'm always walking. I'm always at the pool, for hours. And no, I'm not swimming laps, but I'm swimming. I'm playing. I'm having fun with my kids. And I've done a video kind of about my childhood and why I don't like walking and why I don't like exercise. I mean, really walking. Um, and you know, again, that's trauma from my childhood. But throughout the years, I have been walking. I love going to the parks with my mom. This year is going to be look different, obviously. Going to the parks. I love chasing my mom's birds, even though I complained because I didn't want to go every day. I love being in the pool. So in the summer, I'm always outdoors. I'm always walking. I'm always going somewhere. I'm always doing something. And so that's when I get my most exercise ever, like most people. Um, so yeah, I'm definitely that person. But my thing is, it's something embarrassing, so I'm gonna tell you guys though. And I've always liked the way I look. I liked my hips. I liked my buttocks area. I liked my eyes. There's a lot of things I liked about myself. There's things I don't, of course, like anybody. I've always been pretty, um, okay with myself until everything with my husband really took me down. But then, here comes the embarrassing part. And I'm going to share it with you guys because, you know, because other people are going through this too. So my husband and I went out to eat yesterday. And I haven't had this problem for years, okay, guys? My husband and I went out to eat last night. And we went to a restaurant that we haven't been to for years and years. We used to go when my my oldest was little. And I used to sit there. And I did fine. But last night, I walked into the restaurant and we asked for a booth. I think you guys probably already know where this is going since I just said that. And it was a booth that the table was screwed to the wall or the floor. I'm not even sure. So there was no moving the table. And you guys can probably still get where this is going. So I got in the booth. And I was very uncomfortable in that booth. It was not made for plus size people. Okay? Now, when I've been heavier, because at points in my life I was heavier than I am now. And I had gone through that a lot when I was heavier, as you can imagine. Even probably tables that did move. And that's the first time in so many years that I've had that problem to where, on top of already how I'm feeling about myself, that made me feel worse. Way worse. As you can imagine. So, my husband could see that I was not comfortable. And he asked me, he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, no, I'm not. And we got up and they had a half a booth, half table. And I sat on the table part, obviously, like where they have the chair. And my husband took the booth part. And even right now, I was telling one of my best friends the story, and I'm in tears. Because, again, I don't know why someone would choose to be embarrassed like that. I don't know why people think that people would choose to feel and go through all the health problems that come with being overweight. Now, when my kids were little, don't get me wrong, this girl here, I can do things. Believe me. So, when my kids were growing up, they didn't, even though their dad was around, he wasn't a hands-on dad. Meaning, he wasn't outside playing ball with them, catching them, teaching them how to throw a football. He wasn't out playing basketball with them, or teaching them how to ride a bike. That's what I mean. Or how to play in the dirt, or to play in the dirt. I was doing all that. And so in the past, I had a friend who, she's like, "You are not outside. Like, you're a big girl. You're not outside doing that." And I'm like, "You think I'm not outside teaching my kids to play football or basketball or riding bikes or any of that?" So I had to put my kids on speaker and I'm like, "Hey, who goes outside and plays with you? Who goes teaches you how to throw football and a basketball and plays basketball? We've been out there for hours playing basketball." And they would tell her, my mom does it. But because she didn't want to run, because she thought, heavy people couldn't run, I guess she thought I couldn't play, any of that stuff. Um, it looks like it's gonna rain. If it wasn't for me, my kids wouldn't know how to do any of that. Outdoor stuff or just being a kid in general. I'm the one that got on the floor with my kids and played with their toys with them. Shoot, they rode my back like I was a horse when they were little. And believe me, that did not feel good, by the way. But yeah, I 8 months pregnant with my youngest. I was on the floor playing with my oldest. I don't know how I did it. Believe me. Whew. We had this playground that was down the street, and we walked to it, and it took me, I think, at least an hour to get down to it, which typically would have taken me like 10, 15 minutes, but because when I was pregnant, believe me, I was huge, guys. Plus, I'm short on top of it, so whew, people wanted to put a needle, like a pin, in my stomach and see if I popped because I got so big. But yeah, I mean, like, so yeah, so that was the embarrassing thing that happened to me, and it's okay to laugh later. But right now I'm going through a lot, I feel like, and that didn't help my how I feel. Because, like I said, I have not had that happen in years. And some people will understand, who's been there. And, and like my husband, most people can at least try to understand or try to have empathy of like, if I was in your shoes, and I can't even imagine what that would feel like. And see, my husband's one of those people. It's not that he's like, oh, just put the fork down type people, but he doesn't understand. I don't think he can imagine. He was kind of heavy himself at like 13 years old, I think it was. And my oldest went through that too. He was kind of heavy at that age. But then they kind of grew up, got taller, and grew out of it. And I'm not saying my husband's small. I mean, he definitely has, what is it called? I don't know what you guys call it. The dad bod. Where's the belly? It's not a beer belly because he doesn't drink, but you know what I mean. It looks like a beer belly, I guess, kind of sticking out. But he is older. He's 58 years old, guys. But, which is nothing wrong with it. I'm not complaining. But can't even imagine. And, think, oh, well, you just, he understands that I have reasons. How, like, it's a long story, but, something I was born with that does not help me lose weight at all, believe me. And before you ask, yes, I did look into weight loss surgeries. I actually, when my husband's friends passed away during hers, my kids were younger. I wasn't going to be able to hold them or pick them up when they needed to be. And at that time, my mother, she used to be a nurse at one time, but let's just say she wasn't always the best nurse when it came to me. Now, after my heart surgery, she was amazing at taking care of me. The weight loss surgery, I did look into. I wanted the sleeve. So my dad actually wanted to get me the weight loss surgery when I was 13 years old because he got it at that time. And they were just coming out with the weight loss surgery. So then it was cut from your chest bone down. So you look like a baked potato, almost. And I was about 13 then, and he wanted my mom to let me have it also. And my mom is like, no, she's 13 years old. I don't know about this thing, So then when I got older and I was about 17 or 18, I decided I was going to get the weight loss surgery. And I don't even think they had the sleeve and stuff then. It was just the original one and the bigger one. So I was going to get that. And I went through everything that I had to go through. You know, I didn't even make it to like the drink liquids and stuff to lose weight. But they turned me down. Well, then I had teachers who wrote letters on my behalf. But, and then they approved me. But I never made it farther because I lost my insurance at that point. So I never looked into it again until I've been older. And I had kids. And I decided I wanted to try to get the sleeve. And the doctor I went to, at that time, I went to their class, because you always have to go to their class before. And then I went to see him. Then I went to see the doctor himself, who explained to me, you know, he doesn't do the sleeve. Most doctors are getting rid of the sleeve, which apparently is not true. Because this was years ago. And I know a lot of people that have had the sleeve since I went to see that doctor. And doing great. So obviously the thing that would give the greatest weight loss at my weight is the the real bariatric, whatever it's called. Lap band? No, whatever it's called. The big one. Anyways, so the sleeve, even if I would get it, it'd be a smaller weight loss. But of course, I would still lose weight. Okay. So he wanted to do the big one. At that time, I did smoke. And to get the surgery, you had to quit smoking. Obviously, that was going to be one of my hardest things at that time. When I stepped on the scale at that doctor's office, I saw how much I weighed, and I was like, oh shit. That is the heaviest I have ever been in my lifetime. That scared me so bad. So, I went home, and then I knew my mom wouldn't take care of my kids very well if I was down and out from surgery. Anyways, that scared me so bad. And like I said, I knew my mom. She's like, get up and, my mom would be, get up and walk. What's wrong with you? You need to do what you can, It's just not really taking care of my kids. She hated being tied down, taking care of anybody. So I had watched a show back then called Extreme Weight Loss. I think I've talked about this before. And they had a book, and it was carb cycling. So certain days you eat carbs, certain days you don't. And so got my mindset, because you got to have that mindset before you can do any of it. And so I got my mindset, and I started it. Anyway, sorry, my kid just got home. Anyway, so yeah, they did carb cycling. So every morning you get a carb, you get protein, vegetables. So you get carb, protein, and then you can have vegetables. I can't eat vegetables in the morning. I don't know about you guys. So then on certain days, and there's different ways you can do it. It depends on if you want to gain weight, stay the same, or lose weight. There's different ways. Anyway, so on certain days you get carbs, protein, vegetables. On other days, you get protein, vegetables, and fat. So butter, peanut butter, which can get a little iffy on that one, because like you can have the peanut butter, but you can't have a piece of bread to put it on, or you can have spaghetti but not sauce. I feel like I'm not sure, but anyway, like with that. Anyway, so I was really on top of this, guys, and I had lost 90 pounds in like 6 weeks or more. But I was really working out, and I was really sticking to that. Again, I think in another video I had mentioned this. So at that time, something bad happened to me. Very bad. And I let go of it because that mindset wasn't there. And when things bad happen to us, we let go of the good, right? So, yeah. So, I got down. And since then, of course, I have put more weight on. That's been a long time from, now. I never did go back to the weight loss surgery. At that time I was still smoking. That was going to be hard for me to quit. And, I didn't want the big surgery. I was wanting the sleeve. Could I have tried to go to a different doctor? I'm sure. My husband at that time, like I said, one of his friends had passed away during getting weight loss surgery. I know a lot of people who have had the sleeve, and they have done amazing. A lot of them have put the weight back on, or some of their weight back on. My dad, being one of them, he had put his weight, all of it back on, plus more. It's hard not to go, we can try to make new habits, we can try to change, but what happens? We go back to what's comfortable and what's easy to us. And, people out there, and my husband is one of those people, and I know you guys are going to find this funny, but he does not like heavy-set girls. There's a lot of guys out there who love heavy-set girls. I know quite a few who, the bigger the better, to them. I have found that a lot of guys will not date heavy-set girls, but they want to go to bed with them. So they won't take them out in public. It's like a secret thing. They don't want their friends to know, but they want to go to bed with them. Again, I'm not into that stuff. I'm the type of person, you either show me off and like me for who I am, and if I would lose weight, then great, we get to stay together. But if you're not one of those guys, and I've never been a secret, never will be, then, if I would lose weight, then you definitely get to keep me, because you were there to support me, right? My husband, he's kind of I don't know if he thinks again, he doesn't really understand any of it. So, in his mind, he just thinks it's so easy. And I wish it was that easy, because I know personally, and yes, there have been people who, wanted to be plus size, who wanted to be big. There were people who were competing to be the biggest person in, America. And that's just no. I am someone who, I hate it. If I could change it, I would. I have tried my whole life. You name it, I've been on it. I've done it. I've done the diet pills. I've done the different diets. And so, but yeah, so that is my embarrassing story. And like I said, my husband has never liked plus size women. I am the first person, but he never looks them up either. And he doesn't like them. He's okay with who I am. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I'm definitely the first person. Growing up, my mom and her friends would say, "Oh, you're so pretty. There's just too much to you." Or, "You're so pretty. You have a wonderful shape. You have an hourglass shape. Your face is pretty." Things like that. And, of course, as you can imagine, like I said, teenagers were really mean about that, especially guys. Um, I had a lot of friends, don't get me wrong. Every time I talk to you guys, I had a lot of friends. And I did have boyfriends, don't get me wrong, but again, it's just crazy how people think that somebody would choose to be embarrassed to try to sit somewhere. Or I've known people that have broken chairs. Um, Nobody would choose that life. Ever, ever, ever. Or you're walking somewhere. And, not all of this is my experience, but it is other people's experience where you're walking somewhere. And I know someone who was walking down the street one time and people drove by and screamed at this person, calling them a whale out of their car window. So I don't know. Like, I don't believe people choose to be that way typically. Most of us don't want to draw attention to ourselves, any more than we already have. you know, um, and, so yeah, it's not an easy life. It's not comfortable. I know people that get sores in places on their body because of their weight. And I'm speaking not just for me, but for other people that have, shared stories with me. Of course, their names won't be used. People get sores, infections, um, you know, just tortured. Can't sit different places because, in chairs and benches, or like me, I wear tank tops. I have flabby arms. That's one thing I don't care because I'm going to be comfortable. I know a lot of people who won't wear tank tops because of their weight and because they're embarrassed by their arms. Um, or they won't wear shorts ever. I wear shorts all the time. I don't even care. I have to be comfortable. Um, and, but I know a lot of people that won't wear shorts because they don't like their way their legs look or people will make fun of them. And again, I am that type of person. I don't care. Because again, I need to be comfortable. I go to the pool. And it's funny because I used to go to the pool all the time when I was little. I was a little goldfish swimming all the time. And as I got older, that is something that I did get a little more uncomfortable about, was being seen in my bathing suit, which is unusual for me if you know me. Um, because you would think I would be more embarrassed when I was younger, than as I got older, right? When you're younger, it's usually when you care what people think. But it was for me as I got older. And, most plus size people I know won't go to a gym. And I think I've touched this subject before. They won't go to the gym because they know how they feel and what they would think if they saw someone not look like them walk into a gym. And so because of that, they think everybody in that gym is thinking the same thing. And I'm one of them. I'm not going to lie. It's really hard for me to push myself and go to the gym. Um, and it's hard for me not to think about what other people would think or what I would think if I was them. Um, which is funny because we're there the same reason that other couple is there, or that other person who might be smaller to get healthier, right? To take care of our bodies. But that's how we see it. Now, am I one? I'm not gonna lie, I am one who makes fun of myself. So I remember this one time I was on a swing with my oldest at the time at a playground, and I had this big oversized sweatshirt on, and it had pockets. And so I am on the swing, and I'm swinging, and I go to get off, and I didn't realize my pocket had hooked to the S hook that hooks the swing to the chain. So when I went to get up, it unhooked it, and I fell through onto the sand. And so I am sitting there, and I am laughing my ass off, okay? Laughing so hard, and like nobody else was at the park. But this was a neighborhood park, so like in front were a bunch of houses and stuff. So if people were washing their dishes or anything, they would have seen me probably fall onto the ground. And I am just laughing. I can't even get up. I'm laughing so hard. My son probably thought I was insane at that point. And because I could imagine if I was someone who was in one of those houses watching me fall to the ground, what I would think. I would go, oh my gosh, look at this fat girl who just broke the swing. And I know, don't come after me, because if you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at, guys? So yes, I'm laughing at myself. What I would think if I saw something like that. So yeah, I have no problem laughing at myself. But yeah, so that was funny. So I have a lot of moments like that. Um, and so yeah, I'm just, so yeah, as I got older, I got less and less secure. I haven't been to the pool for years until we started going to this local one, with my kids. We started at a water, play place. It's not a pool, but they go and play in the water. And um, I went once or twice with them in my bathing suit. And do you know what I saw? I'll tell you guys what I saw. I saw parents having fun with their kids. I saw people of all sizes who were focused. They weren't focused on me. I'm not saying maybe people weren't whispering. I don't know. But they weren't saying it out loud to me to where I could hear it. First of all. Second of all, so many people of different sizes. But guess what they were doing? They were focused on their kids and having fun and bringing joy to their kids, not me. So then I got more comfortable. And then I started going to the local pool. And guess what I saw? The same exact thing. I have had, at my local pool at least, I've had the best experience. I'm not saying people aren't sometimes talking about me. But there's lots of reasons that people get talked about, right? It's not always just about weight. And that's what I saw. People focus on their family, their kids, their loved ones, having fun as a family. They were not focused on me that I ever knew of. If so, I'm very important to them. But, so yeah. And I wear a tank bikini, to the pool. So, I did invest in some shorts just because, I don't know. Well, that's for a different reason, not to do with my weight. But anyway, some swim shorts, that I've added to my tank bikini, but sometimes I wear my tank bikini. And so, yeah, and if I can do it, Anybody can do it. But lately, with everything going on with my husband, and then yesterday did not help, I will say. I will say that did not help me. My self-esteem, I promise. But yeah. So, with everything, I just been doing a lot of AI online to make myself look better or feel better. Of course, that's not really how I look in some sense. Because, it's my picture. I'm not changing hair color or body size or anything like that. I'm just, making my skin a little smoother, things like that. But, so hopefully I'll get back to who I was, no matter what my size. But for right now, you know, this is who I am, and this is what I'm going through. So, as they say, when it rains, it pours. But, yeah, I never went back for weight loss surgery ever. Now, of course, being on blood thinners, because I've kind of talked to my cardiologist about it. He was like, they wouldn't do it. I don't know if that's true, but because my blood thinner thing is very tricky, because I always have to be on a blood thinner, even if it's heparin. When I have surgery, I can be off of it for I think 12 hours, and then I have to be back on. So, yeah, I don't think they would do it. They have that new surgery where they go in and, what is that? Give you stitches and close your stomach that way, and they go down through your throat. I don't even know if they would do that for me, because if the stitches would rip or something and I would bleed, that'd be horrible. So, and then that brings me to, if I would ever happen to lose the weight, I would want the, skin cut off. And I'm like, I don't think they would do that either. So, I'm kind of at a non-winning period in my life. So I guess take it one day by day, just like everything else. Anyways, I thought I'd share all that with you guys. I hope you enjoy. Any questions? Feel free to leave it in the comments. Talk to you guys later. Bye.